All right, and if you could start us off real quick.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for coming, and a lot of y'all for coming early. We appreciate your punctuality again. Just a really quick intro. So hello, my name is Anthony Chow. I also go by Ant. I am the co-president of PASE, which is hosting this workshop, aka Filipinx Americans in Science and Engineering. And this workshop will be led by our academics chair as well as our co-president, along with me, Matthew Lawrence, and Marco. So just a really quick intro for folks who may not have heard of us or this is your first PACE event. We are part of the Greater Philam, or the Philam in UC Davis with 8 other orgs, and our org's focus is catering towards communities in, or Filipinx folks within STEM majors or career fields. So yeah, thank you all for coming again today. And if you would like, we'll put our socials and other information at the end of the presentation if you're interested in learning more about us and following more of our events later on. And if you have friends or peers that are unable to make it to today's workshop and want to see or are interested, we'll also be recording this, as y'all have heard, and we'll be posting it on our social media and things like that. So pass it back to you, Marco.
Thank you. So just to introduce myself, my name is Marco. I am a third-year biological psychology major. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am PACE, as Aaron said, I'm PACE's academic chair.
And I'm co-hosting the workshop, everyone. Can't introduce me, but I'm Matthew. I'm a 4th-year civil and environmental engineering major. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I'm the co-president for PACE.
Cool. So just to give you a little bit of insight about the purpose of this workshop today, we just want to be a resource to our community, and we'd like to share our endeavors, our experiences, and navigating the professional space. Cool. So before we start, I just want to do a little bit of a land acknowledgement. So we should take a moment to acknowledge the land on which we are gathered. For thousands of years, the land has been the home of Patwin people. Today, there are 3 federally recognized Patwin tribes: the Catchill-Dihi Band of Winton Indians of the Calusa Indian community, the Quetzal-Dihi Winton Nation, and the Yocha-Dihi Winton Nation. The Patwin people have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. It has been cherished and protected as elders have instructed the young through generations, and we are honored and grateful to be here today on their traditional land. Cool. So, going into our workshop, you're probably wondering, what is LinkedIn? Just to give you a little bit of insight, a little introduction, LinkedIn is a pre-professional social media platform. Unlike Facebook or Twitter, it's meant for your public portfolio and a display of your own branding. Usually it's used to market yourself through experiences, skills, and valuable assets. And you can be whoever you want on the internet, but on LinkedIn, you should definitely try to be yourself, be authentic. This is what makes you stick out. Recruiters and hiring managers are looking for a number of traits, but one of the most important ones that I believe is your individuality, your expression, and your authenticity. Cool. So moving on to LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn starts with how you brand yourself, whether that be aspirations, passions, or experiences. You should express your personal values, and if these align with the potential employer, you're more likely to land the interview and land that job or get that position. So an important question before starting your profile is, what do you stand for? What do you believe? On your profile, you can blend a lot of these interests, these ideas, and many features into a professional space, and tell them that you're here and you're ready to work. You're ready to do your thing. So here's one for example of a profile. Has a clear, centered headshot, very professional, very cheerful.
I don't think so.
Oh, sorry. So here's our headshot. Next, we have our About section. So this is a very important place to put things you believe in, interests, and aspirations. It should be unique and should be about your individuality and your value. Next, we have your experience. So experience is experience. For someone who thinks they have haven't done anything in their life, well, I'm just here to tell you that you have. Whether it was a leadership position in an organization or a retail position at like your local business, or even like supporting your community gathering, all these experiences are valid and they make you who you are, and you have every right to display it. Whether you're a coordinator, an assistant, you attend a certain educational system, or you volunteer, they all matter and they all have value. Next, we have skills. So, um, for your skill set, this essentially could be copied and pasted from your resume, but the benefit of having it on your LinkedIn profile is that these skills can be endorsed. They could be empowered and prompted by other connections, which we'll lead on to next. Um, but it validates, one second. Sorry, one second. Cool. So you endorse other people's skills. Specifically, one skill that stands out for me is our interpersonal relationship skills or people skills. Showing that you're able to work with others is truly valuable for the workplace, because it shows that at the end of the day, you'll do what needs to be done. Another pointer or tip is that you should endorse all skills, because for different positions, different skills are necessary. And a person who endorses all their skills may not convey the message that they want. Even though having more skills may sound appealing, it's ultimately better to show expertise and specializations, since they show a better representative of who you are. Next, we have networking. So building a network. One of the main reasons people use LinkedIn is due to the numerous amount of connections that you'll gain. This is essentially the following and falling back feature of other stuff like Instagram or Facebook. But connections on LinkedIn are important because it brings you one step closer to future employment. So you can surround yourself with people that you align with, your career goals or your personal interests. The benefit of having more connections is that you're more visible to the algorithm. More views may lead to more opportunities and more education. Another useful trick is using LinkedIn during career fairs. If you see someone at a company that you want to work for or in a career you want to pursue, don't be afraid to slide through in their in-message or in-mail and ask for informational interviews. But at the end of the day, that's what LinkedIn is for. It's for building these professional connections. Oh, and then finally, one other example that I want to direct y'all towards is that your school is a resource. The specific feature I want to highlight is that how your school has its own LinkedIn, for instance, UC Davis's. Specifically, the connections you inherently create by attending the university of your choice. Besides for the numerous resources that it provides, such as opportunities or career fairs or resources, one important tab that I like to focus on is the alumni tab. Here you can find alumni who have found careers and fields you may want to pursue, such as the health field, such as the tech industry. But this is a very easy way to connect with people that you may not have known otherwise, but you share something in common, that you share a university alma mater.
All right, so next part we're going to talk about is networking tips. Now that you have your profile set up and you know people you want to connect to, how do you get to that? And so we can click next. So here's a little roadmap. So it starts with meeting people, whether that's at a career fair, an event like this, an info session, or being referred to someone by a friend. You start to meet people, you start a conversation. Next is, well, if you're talking to folks, especially these days online, no one wants to have boring conversations flooding their inbox. So ask them questions that are relevant to their experiences, things that you're interested in. You know, if you're in web development, don't go and ask them what their favorite food is. I mean, it might be different, but it's not particularly useful. And LinkedIn is reserved for more professional communication. Have a clean professional headshot. Make sure people can tell who you are easily by looking at your profile. Leave out any profanity, obscene gestures, etc. Save that for your Finsta, y'all. After that, after you have a conversation, take notes of what the recruiters are saying, what who you're talking to. Get a feeling for people on LinkedIn. Not everything has to lead to a job. Something else that's equally important is figuring out where you don't want to work. If you're talking with someone who's like, yeah, I work 80 hours a week at an investment firm, if you're trying to work a 40-hour work week, having that knowledge that that's not for you will save you time and save you the effort of having to apply places. After that, once you've figured out you want to talk to these people, you like what they're doing, you like what they represent, connect with them on LinkedIn. And we have a message here if you're a little shaky on how to connect with folks. So this is a format that you can fill out. Make sure that you fill it out correctly. If you save it somewhere, don't send recruiters messages with the wrong name. I've done that, didn't get a response. So it's not a great thing. You make mistakes, but you learn. So the format's hi, whoever you're talking to, make sure the name is right before you send it. And then say, it was great meeting you at the career fair. I appreciated hearing more about your company's work-life balance and the current projects you're working on. It'd be great to connect with you. And that's a great message to include. It gives the recruiter a sense that you're interested, that you're engaged when talking to them, and really gives folks more personal connection. You're not just a name and a picture then, you're actually a person. And so on the next slide, there's some more tips for helping LinkedIn recognize that you're a real person. So first up, your profile picture, have a picture. Make sure that, it's not taken on like a grainy flip phone camera. That helps. Next up, your industry and location. Let people know where you want to work and what you want to do. And that's the purpose of LinkedIn, trying to connect folks. Whether you're connecting across the industry or you're connecting with folks that you know, it's a great way to start the conversation. After that, make sure your summary and about sections are filled out. The people have a sense of who you are and what your passions are, what you're interested in. That can help land you a job all on its own. Next up is your current position and your last two positions if you have them. They don't necessarily have to be work. If you're involved with clubs, if you volunteer, if you do anything else, even if you're not being paid for it, it can be good to fill out your LinkedIn and give people a sense of who you are. After that, it's skills and branding. Making sure that, profile's up to date, you keep it updated. And then what skills do you have? Are you a computer science major that's done a bunch of coding in Python? Are you a physics major that's done crazy modeling on experiments for astronomy? Whatever it is, you have some skills. It's why you're taking classes at Davis. After you've taken those classes, make sure you link them on your LinkedIn. After that, you got your education and courses. If you've got any certifications, if you've done any particularly difficult classes, recruiters will look for these particular keywords. Like, I'm a civil engineer, so having taken mechanics of materials or water quality analysis, we'll look up those particular courses as a sense of where you're at in your degree. And, and then after that, make sure you have at least 50 plus connections. LinkedIn's algorithm starts kicking in then, kind of verifies you as a profile at that point. And if you're struggling to get connections, first, you probably got like 5 friends. Start with those 5 friends, then find their 5 friends, move on from there. Also, if you need a starting connection, you can hit up any of the board members here at PASE. You can add me on LinkedIn. It's Matthew Lawrence. You'll find me. I'm wearing a PASE jacket. Marco is also on there. I added Marco today. So grow your network. Start out small, but don't worry. We all start somewhere, and you just got to keep working. All right. Now, for the next topic, once you've connected with people, applying for jobs on Handshake.
Thank you, Matthew Lawrence. So you're probably asking, what is Handshake? Handshake is a career website/app that partners with colleges to connect employers to potentially new candidates, just us students. A few other details. It can be personalized and individualized through several interest-related questions and academic information. And a lot of this is automatically transferred when using your UC Davis email to log in, such as like your major, your GPA, courses you've taken. This also helps recommend jobs and internships that match your set of skills. More importantly, This provides opportunities that you would otherwise miss and it has a very easy application process. And this also provides a lot of different resources such as career fairs and online events. I know that specifically there's a LinkedIn lunch every week, I believe. And I feel like it's a very, very valuable resource that you could just pop in on Handshake. So how do you get started? It's a very simple process. It doesn't take too much time, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes out of your day. But all you have to do is sign up with your university email, provide your student ID number and other CAS login such stuff. And again, this will provide like such major information such as majors, GPA, and other personal information that's valuable to the employer. This will also help specialize offers from jobs based upon these characteristics and try to match your skills with employers. I know it may be like very daunting at first. It's like, oh, I'm not prepared. I don't have these sets of skills. But you never know when the job market will look for or require your exact set of skills. So next, we have your profile. Similar to LinkedIn, there's an initial introduction of the profile, such as the profile picture, which is centered, it's focused, it's cheerful. Also, there's the My Journey section, similar to the About section in LinkedIn, where you can provide experience, background, other history that you'd like to demonstrate to the world. In a sense, your My Journey section is almost like a cover letter. And if you don't know what a cover letter is, it's just in essence like your narrative of your motivations, your experiences, and what drives you to work for any particular environment. In addition, these skills demonstrate your individuality and a strong sense of self. And even if you're not too sure about yourself, even if you have doubts, your self-esteem issues or self-conscious, your About page highlights all your strengths and all the things you've worked on. And it's important to claim these strengths and recognize the areas of improvement. And this isn't just a one-time thing. You're constantly improving. So you should always constantly improve or update your profile. Next, we have the experiences on your profile. Again, similar to LinkedIn, it's just your interest, skills, and important courses. But I think here it's really important to put your courses and skills, as these allow for the algorithm to set a foundation for what jobs or internships may apply to you better. And if you're not sure about like any of your skills that you've acquired, there's always something more to do. There's always something that allows you to present yourself in the best light, to highlight your strongest aspects of yourself. And whether that's volunteer work, but specifically, like Matthew said, your courses, your certifications, all the things that you've done that you really try to improve on.
All right, so now once you have your basic profile set up, you're going to want to optimize it. And so there's 6 key aspects that'll boost your profile on Handshake. And according to Arizona State University, with fully filled out profile that's been optimized, you're 5 times more likely to be messaged by employers. So let's take a look at things that you're going to need. First up is a resume. It should be up to date. It should be professional. You might also want to be general. Unless you have a very specific company in mind that you're talking to, you're probably not going to be able to focus on skills that someone's necessarily going to want directly. So have general skills, have some relevant ones to your industry, but don't stress if it's not a perfect resume. That'll take time. That'll probably take some effort to network with folks and talk to them. So try and reach out to folks on LinkedIn. Next up is your graduation date. Any employer that's out there is trying to figure out what are you going to offer to the company, what are your plans, and your graduation date is a big milestone. Most folks after graduating are looking into going into the workforce at some point, so that gives them milestone. You go back, Marco? Thanks. Sorry about that. So after that, your graduation date, basically when are you going to be working, gives them an idea of, are you an internship candidate, job candidate, etc. Career interest, what fields, where are you looking at, what drives you, why are you doing your major? After that, having at least one experience. something you've done, whether it's work experience, volunteering, just shows at a basic level that you can show up on time and do work. You'd be surprised how many employers say they can train you in everything. They can't train you to show up on time and make sure that you work well with others. Speaking of working well with others, having an organization can be literally anything. It's just there to show folks that you can work in a team with people and put on workshops. This workshop wouldn't have been possible without Marco working with me, but also Ant and Melissa helped us make the slides, make the graphics. And so having that teamwork and collaborative skill is something that's a huge deal to employers because almost no one works completely by themselves. After that, having 5 skills is something that says you've put some time into your profile, thought about what you offer. It can be whatever skills that you have from your classes, from just working experience, customer service, anything. But it's back to putting in that time and effort into the job search and showing that you're an interested employee. So how do you find these jobs? Now we go to the next slide. So Handshake has job search feature, and you're going to see it right on the left-hand side. There's jobs. You can also filter by employers or career paths or events. And so the job search, once you go further, you get to this screen. It'll have a list of all sorts of jobs. You'll have filters. If you're a second or third year, you're probably going to want to look at either part-time or internships. When we're in person, you'd likely want to look at on campus, or you can go to the upper right-hand corner, find the zip code or the city or state that you're looking at. You know, if you're an out-of-state student, you might want to work back home over summer. So you can filter through that. It'll give you a better sense. You can also get an idea of what jobs potentially in your industry are paying. So you can choose to say, look up a general term like research scientist or data technician. And those will bring up a bunch of jobs where you can look at what are potential salaries, what are qualifications needed. So even if you're not looking at a specific job necessarily and trying to apply to it, Handshake can be a good tool to kind of gauge what are you looking at, are you qualified, overqualified, underqualified, and where opportunities are. So after that, you get to go, and once you've found a job you want to apply to, this will be the screen you usually see. Attach your resume. With your resume, when you save it on your computer, make sure that you list a date. You don't want to accidentally upload a resume from 2-3 years ago. Not likely to land you a job. Maybe it is, I don't know. My GPA has probably gone down over time, so might not be hurt by that. But after that, there's other documents they might ask for. Some ask for supplemental forms, proof of experience, technical writing documents. Another common one is a cover letter. It gets a lot of hype. All it is a statement that says, hi, I'm Matthew. I just finished my engineering degree. I really want a job, so I'm not broke. Can you hire me because you seem like a great place to work? You probably want to have a little bit more polish to your cover letter than that, but that's the gist of it. A lot of employers will look for that when they're going through the stack of candidates that are applying and say, well, these 5 people sending cover letters, they probably care more than the 50 people that just said, oh, well, I'm going to click the apply button now. So if they're asking for it, if you're able to, write a cover letter. You can have a template saved. Just make sure that you focus it to whatever company you're applying to. And how do you find these companies? Well, they show up at events. Handshake is great for events. You can RSVP back in the olden days for in-person events. Now it has virtual events. So you can search events that are coming up. You can search times, dates, interests, and the career fairs at Davis will be on Handshake. The list of events there. So the dates for that will be shown in this slide, and you can see them. You can bookmark them for future reference. You can look at who's going to be there, what times, find more info. Companies really like it when you talk to them about researching stuff. I know, kind of weird, but you'd be surprised how many companies go, oh, wow, you took the 5 minutes to look me up before you went to the career fair so you can talk to me. So Here's some important dates that you're going to want to save onto your calendar. If you're interested in engineering and tech, even if you're not an engineer or you're not computer science, there's still probably jobs out there for you. The Engineering and Tech Internship and Career Fair will be happening Tuesday, January 26th next year in 2021 from 10 to 2 p.m. It'll be on Handshake. You'll go on there, you'll click on the event, and you'll be able to RSVP, and more likely than not, it'll likely give you a Zoom link or a link to a similar platform. The Winter Internship and Career Fair will be happening February 24th, 2021, 10 to 2 again. It'll be on Handshake. Dress professionally. Remember basic etiquette on webcams. Try not to come in with music blasting in the background. And bring digital copies of your resume. Touch it up. Make sure you look at it sometime between now and January, February. If you have a little bit of downtime, take a couple hours during winter break. Make sure you update what classes have you done, what have you been up to. Update your address, your email, anything like that. So that way, if your dream company comes up and goes, hey, we want to give this kid a call, if you have your old phone number and some random stranger gets the call and hangs up on them, you're probably not landing the job. After that, check out the Internship and Career Center. They are on campus. It's a great resource, free with your tuition, comes with career finding, resume help, cover letters, all sorts of professional advice. They also have online appointments now. You can shoot them an email. And so they're a great resource to check out. They also sometimes have jobs that come up, so it might be something to consider. Alrighty.
Cool. So in closing, I just want to let you know a couple tips that I find valuable. So first, having other people look over your resume or profile to catch your mistakes and give you valuable feedback. This also inhibits confirmation bias, so that something that you believe in isn't looked at from only one perspective. Having a manager, a coworker, a mentor, someone look at your profile as well, so they can give you suggestions on how you add to the workplace or the value you have in your position in relation to them. And I think really most importantly that I really want to hit hard on today is to recognize both your intrinsic value and your accomplishments. There's all these things that helped you reach the place that you are now. And although life is full of success and failures, they all contribute to your progress and your validity. You're meant to be here, and you just need to take that one step in order to reach that next milestone. Cool. And then, so here's our sources if you just want to look at what information that we had. We'll next move on to our announcement for today, if Anne and Melissa wants to talk about it.
Hello, everybody. So as of today, our applications for our interns, aka our PASE turns, are going to be open. So the apps are going to be due on Friday, the 20th at 11:59 p.m. And if you're interested in applying, please just check out this tiny URL, tinyurl.com/paseturnapps21. We will be posted. I think we already posted this on our social media, or we will very soon with all the information if you want to look at it later. But in short, our interns are basically folks that will be integrated within our board, and all the board members that are currently here will serve as your mentors. So if you're interested in helping us with or learning leadership skills and working on planning workshops like these or other logistical aspects of being in a student organization, please don't hesitate to apply. I started out as an intern when I first joined PACE during my first year, and here I am as the co-president. So if Melissa's also here with me to help share her experience as an intern. So
yeah, hi, I'm Melissa. I was a PACE turn last year. I was under Anthony. After his first year as a PACE turn, he entered the board. I was a PACE turn under him. I worked I learned how he made graphics because he used to be media commissioner, and I've now taken over his position. I got to get firsthand experience learning, seeing what he did and slowly getting integrated into what it's like to work on the board and have that responsibility. And I feel like it was a really fun experience to get to learn about that and like meet new people, work with them, gain those skills. So I highly encourage you to apply. And even if you're unsure, just like look at the application. We have more specific details. If you're unsure, feel free to message any of us if you have any questions specifically about like what we do as PACE turns and like what the application holds. But it was a really fun experience, so I highly encourage everyone to join.
And on the topic of LinkedIn Handshake, if y'all are interested, it will also add a nice piece of experience on your profile as an intern. And if you decide later on you want to apply as a board position, you would have a higher chance of getting it due to an increased amount of experience already being familiar with being in the board. So just a couple selling points if you're kind of on the edge or you're kind of considering. So if you want, just check out the information on the application. There will also be linked a document that lists out all the logistics regarding being an intern if you want to know more of the finer details. And feel free to reach out to us on social media or other things like that. We'll be putting all the information in the next slide, but we'll also be putting out shout outs to, or I guess like intern, people talking about their intern experiences on our social media. So if you want to learn more about our previous interns and their experiences and how that affected them moving forward, please check that out soon. We'll be putting that out. And yeah, if anybody has any questions about this up front, feel free to unmute yourself or add it to the chat. If not, we can move forward. And even if it's just a little consideration, just take note of this tiny URL or check out our social media with this information.
Okay, cool. Well, that comes to the end of our workshop. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to unmute or enter the chat. Otherwise, here's our contacts, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, our Facebook, and also my personal email if you ever want to just talk to me about anything. But yeah, so if anyone has questions, like feel free.
Also, if any of y'all want to reach out to me or add me up, you can hit me and Ant up at Join PACE at pretty much any social media. We monitor that. You can communicate with us. You can add us there. So if you want to follow up, feel more than free to. Also, you can shoot us a message. I'm always happy to help look at resumes, talk to folks about things related to just Davis, classes, anything. So yeah, thank you for coming out tonight and glad you could make it.
Just curious, where you guys will put the recording?
Yes, we are recording this meeting. We'll be putting it out shortly after, and once it's all processed.
Okay, but where?
Oh, we'll be putting it probably, I believe it's on YouTube. Eliza, if you want to answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be posting it on YouTube whenever I get the video, and I'll also try to put it on Instagram, but last time I tried to post it a video on Instagram, it just wouldn't post. So it will most definitely be on our YouTube.
All right, got it.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, Maya, to answer your question, in terms of reaching out to recruiters, I have some experience. It depends on the industry. Most of the recruiters I've talked to, I've known through other avenues. I don't usually cold message recruiters. I talk to them either at career fairs or honestly, I've met a lot through other random networking events that weren't related to what they do. Then I add them on LinkedIn later and I find out that they work recruitment. Some of them come from random hobbies like swing dancing. Found out my friend works recruitment and is apparently a team lead at Tesla. Never knew that for like 2 years, and then finally was like, oh, that LinkedIn profile, I know him. And I was like, oh, wow, did not know that was his day job. So, add your random friends on LinkedIn. Outside of that, is there anything you had in particular about reaching out to recruiters that you wanted to talk about? Or? Yeah, Jay, so if you're a freshman now, it's a great time to start working on your LinkedIn profile as soon as you can. Um, it does seem a little early, but it'll also give you time to develop it, make more connections. Um, it'll also help you just get some practice in. First resume I did was terrible. And I talked to, I showed it to my mom because she works in HR and hiring, and she was like, "Yeah, I would hire you for anything. Like, this is junk." I was like, I kind of went and cried a little bit, but yeah. Point being that it's a skill. It takes some practice to get things the way you want. It's going to need some review, but yeah, start early, start considering things. And it doesn't have to be a great profile initially. Mine certainly wasn't, but taking things slowly was a great way to go.
Yeah, and I think kind of elaborating on that a little bit more, like even though you might not have a lot, even just getting it started and starting to build your network, the earlier you start, the bigger your network will be in the long run. So even if you don't have too much experience or too much of to put onto your profile now, it'll still be good to just get it started and keep adding on to it the more you experience in college. Are there any further questions for us? If not, y'all are free to go. Thank y'all so much for coming out tonight. We hope we know this is not the most amazing, spectacular, fun thing to do on a Friday night, but we really appreciate y'all's company.